G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be having a look at Garuda Linux or Garuda Linux. A little bit of controversy as to how that is pronounced. I've been told it's called Garuda. I might just slip in and out of the different pronunciations on that one just to even it up a bit. Anyway, it's Garuda Linux and we have plenty of desktops to choose from or window managers, KDE, XFCE, GNOME, LXQT with the KWin, Wayfire, Qtile, BSPWM, i3WM and Sway. And we have the download here. I believe I downloaded the KDE one. I have tried it. I've forgotten already which one it was. Live session, login details, Garuda and Garuda. And then you got your downloads. I've downloaded, that's the one, Garuda KDE Dragonized. So I've downloaded the KDE one. So you've got all these different ones here. KDE Dragonized Edition, Gaming Edition, and Black Arch Edition. Then you got the XFCE, the GNOME or GNOME, LXQT KWin, Wayfire, Qtile Edition, BSPWM, i3, Sway. And there's a Mate as well. I don't remember seeing Mate on the main screen. But they're your desktop choices. I downloaded this one here, the Dragonized Edition. So let's check that out. So I'm going to install that in VirtualBox. So we'll start that up. And on boot, we have boot with open source drivers or boot allowing proprietary drivers, NVIDIA, for example. I'm on VirtualBox, so open source drivers will be just fine for me. You've got other options here. I'm just going to go with boot open source drivers and away we go. So what they're saying here on Garuda Linux is it's an easy installation with the Calamares installer. Unleash the beauty, BTRFS as the default file system with ZSTD compression, GUI tool for various common tasks along with Snapper. I'm not sure what Snapper is besides being a fish. Not quite sure about that. It's a rolling release distro. It doesn't say what it's based on, but I'm sure it's Arch Linux. AUR, yep. So Garuda uses chaotic AUR as repository, featuring one of the bigger precompiled software choices out there out of the box. Among the selection of software are a lot of emulators, kernels, games, themes, and other commonly used tools. A privacy-friendly yet usable browser based on LibreWolf, FireDragon. So they ship their own LibreWolf fork named FireDragon. Amongst its features are privacy-friendly defaults, enhanced KDE integration, and a small collection of useful add-ons. A GUI for managing drivers and kernels, Garuda Settings Manager, GUI for installing curated gaming software. Garuda Linux is a rolling release distro based on Arch Linux, which ensures always getting the latest software updates. We only use one extra repo on top of Arch Linux repos, placing us very close to Arch Linux without having to install the system via command line. So you got the Linux Zen, a faster, more responsive Linux kernel optimized for desktop, multimedia and gaming, result of a collaborative effort of kernel hackers to provide the best Linux kernel possible for everyday systems. Ease of use, we use Micro as the default terminal-based text editor that aims to be easy to use and intuitive, while taking advantage of the capabilities of modern terminals. Garuda Linux offers you various GUI tools for managing system settings out of the box to make your jump start easier. Always free, Garuda Linux will always remain free and open source. Our source code is currently hosted on GitLab. Everyone has right to copy, compile, study, modify, and redistribute the source code. We create it to have a Linux-based operating system that is easy to use and beautiful. Focus on performance. So our goal is to provide a distro that focuses only on performance while making it beautiful. That's why we made some sane performance tweaks. Improved I/O performance, CPU scheduler set to performance, optional install power saving tweaks, ZRAM enabled by default, no hang and OOM prevention daemon. I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest. And Nancy CPP, I'm not sure really how that's pronounced, which automatically adjusts nice levels. So that's a quick rundown on that. So let's check this out. So I've just gone Control F, which is full screen, and it's automatically set the screen to maximum 1920 by 1080. That's pretty handy. Garuda Linux Harpy Eagle, a rolling release, fast, friendly and performance focused OS. Garuda is loaded with amazing tools and supported by a great community. So I've got these options here. I don't know whether we've got links here as well. Okie dokes. So this takes you to the websites. Contact us on these platforms, web services. Okay. And we got tools. So I don't think we really need tools until we install. So that's install Garuda Linux. So Calamari's installer. American English for me, so let's click next. Australia Perth is correct. And English Australia, English Australia. English Australian default, yes, next. Erase disk, I'm just going to do a straight out erase and install to the whole disk, which will delete all data currently present on the selected storage device, which means if you choose erase disk, you're wiping that whole disk completely clean. That's what I'm going to do. Bootloader location, master boot record, next. My real name, my username will always be Colin, and this will be test. That's what I'm naming everything now. Password. Use the same password for the administrator account. I'm not going to log in automatically. And then it gives you a rundown of the changes you've made. I'm pretty happy with that anyway, and let's install. And install now. So it's been stuck on 94% for a while, and it's doing this miscellaneous post-install configurations. Haven't seen that before. It's very interesting. And that is the install complete. Shall restart and log in to the freshly installed desktop. And the options we have here is Garuda Linux, advanced options, which will be probably kernels. Yep, escape that. And let's boot Garuda Linux. And there we have our login screen. And just so you know, this is a Big Daddy Linux exploration for this week. So that's another reason why I'm installing this. So let's log in to our new desktop. So we have a welcome to Garuda Linux. Would you like to start the setup assistant to finish your installation? Okay, so this is what the miscellaneous post-install thing must have been all about. So let's run through the setup assistant to see what's going on. So let's click yes on that one. So update the system recommended. So let's do that, yes. Put in our password. So it wants to do a full system upgrade. So let's say yes to that. We could just press enter at this point because Y is the capital, which means that's the default. Let's just press enter. So it looks like these downloads are going to take a while. I'm going to pause and come back when it's done. Okay, so I don't know what's happened to I let the download continue and I come back and the screen was locked, couldn't log in. So that wasn't good. So I had to shut the machine down. I don't know whether it actually completed that update or not. We'll soon find out, I suppose. So let's try again to log in. Okay, so I believe we were using the Garuda Assistant. So let's go back to that and see whether that... Okay, so I believe it was the setup assistant. Let's do that again. Setup assistant, update the system. Okay. So that's where we was at. Let's try that. So I'm back to the full system update. The download size now is only 200 megabytes. Okay, so we're now up down to 203 megabytes because I've probably interrupted the download, but that must have been, this is a very slow download. I don't know why it's so slow, but that other 200 megabytes took quite a while, and this looks like it might be taking just as long. Anyway, we'll let it go and see how we go. Hopefully it speeds up a bit. It looks like it's speeding up a bit now. Oh, here we go. Now it's got a lot faster. So I'd have to think there was a couple of repositories there, or a few repositories actually, that were really slow. These ones at the moment are really quick. So hopefully we get through this quite fast. So I'm not going to abandon the computer this time. I'm going to let it run. And I'm going to sit here and watch it and move my mouse around. Okay, so that second part of the download was a lot faster than the first. So I don't know whether it's picked up different mirrors on the second check or not. Not sure about that, but it was definitely a lot quicker that time. So the login issue, I think was, I thought I was still on the live desktop and I was typing in Garuda, and I did that about 3 times. So I don't know if that caused a problem with the login, but I would have thought that the login could just continue until you get the correct password, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it locked me out for a certain amount of time. I'm not really sure. I just shut it down and restarted. So that's what happened there. So it could have been my fault. I'm not sure about that. Or blame me at the moment. I'm happy to take the blame. Okay, so system is updated. We just need to press enter to continue. So let's do that, see what happens. Would help if I focus the window. Here we go. So start the post installation wizard. Select your favorites from a lot of commonly used packages. So let's continue that. See what we've got. Do you need a printer, scanner, and Samba support? Oh, let's say yes. Do you want to install additional Garuda wallpapers? Why not? Do you want to install additional KDE components and applications? Ooh, that depends. Do we have KDE Wallet in here? It might install KDE Wallet. No, it's not in here. So, should I click yes or should I click no? Oh, let's go yes anyway. Components and applications. Let's just say yes. What additional input method support do you want? Probably none of those really. So I'm just going to click OK on that. Asian font support. Oh, the Mrs. Cambodian. I don't know if I need Cambodian on here. I've never had to before on any of my machines. So she doesn't use computers much. So I'll just click OK on that. What extra software centers do you want? So you've got a choice of GNOME firmware app image launcher, enhances app image integration. Octopi, that's GUI software for Arch-based distros. PAMAC, Bow, I think it's called. Discover, GNOME software, APA, application and package manager using package kit. GNOME firmware. Well, Discover is a KDE application, so I'll choose Discover. Or should we try Octopi? I don't mind Discover actually. I know some people sort of find it a bit sluggish. I think it's been okay lately, so I'm going to choose Discover. GNOME firmware, app image launcher, enhances app image integration. Let's try that one anyway. GNOME firmware updater. Well, I'm on a VirtualBox, so we're not going to choose that one anyway. So that'll do for that. Do you need another kernel? Linux hardened, improved security. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Less input lag, more responsive. Linux T, yeah. I don't know any of those. Long-term support failsafe. I'll just go with whatever has come out of the box with Garuda at the moment. Let's do that. What office suites do you want? It's a virtual box, so I don't know whether I want an office suite or any of these, but it's just interesting to see what they're offering here within the setup or the post-installation wizard. This is very interesting. So it does give you a lot of choice. You've even got a choice of AbiWord, G-Numeric, GNU Cache, KMyMoney, Scrooge, Calligra, Yozo Office. Never ever heard of Yozo Office. Does anyone know what Yozo Office is? Because I've never heard of that one. That's new to me. Free Office, yes. WPS Office, yes. That's probably a lot more compatible with Microsoft Office Documents, WPS. And maybe Free Office as well, I'm not sure. And you got Only Office as well. Aims to be compatible with Microsoft Office. Well, I would have thought so were these, to be honest. LibreOffice is catching up with a lot of that stuff as well now, so I still use LibreOffice. If I was going to make a choice here, it'd be LibreOffice Fresh. So the still is the same as above, but more of a stable version. So you're probably slightly behind on the version, whereas the Fresh is probably the most updated one. I would take the LibreOffice Fresh. I'm not going to choose nothing here. And that's all I would probably choose in this category here. So let's click OK. What extra browsers do you want? So FireDragon. Well, I thought they had console FireDragon. So that's installed already. So it's a bit odd that it's got the option to install FireDragon, yet it's already installed. So I find that a bit odd. That should be like grayed out or something, I would have thought. You got Firefox, LibreWolf, Firefox with enhanced privacy, Firefox ESR, Chromium, ungoogled Chromium, Vivaldi, Opera. I think I've done that before. Tor browser, Otter browser, Brave, Falcon, SeaMonkey, Qt browser. Wowee, what a choice. There's a lot of choices there. I'm going to stick with the default at the moment. FireDragon is already installed, so I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to choose any of these. If I was to make a choice, it'd be Firefox. Although I've never tried ungoogled Chromium. Seen it going around, never tried it. Don't know how that works. Brave's getting pretty popular too. So, geez, there's so many choices there. So let's just click OK. I'm going to go with the default at the moment. So what email clients do you want? Top of the list, Thunderbird. That's the one that I would choose. That's just install Thunderbird. That's probably not a huge install. Then you got Kmail, Evolution, Geary, Trajita, which comes default in Lubuntu, MailSpring, Clause Mail, Silpheed, and SeaMonkey. So let's just stick with Thunderbird on this occasion. What communication software do you want? Okay. Let's do this, Telegram, and I'll take Zoom. What else have we got? Discord, NeoChat, Fractal, Element, Wire, Signal. So there's a Signal for desktop. I didn't know that. I've only just heard of Signal in the last week, actually. I didn't know it existed. And I've just noticed there's one for desktop. That's interesting. Jitsi Meet, Skype, Microsoft Teams, Slack, Mumble, and Twitch. So I'm just going to take the two, Telegram and Zoom, and click OK. What common internet software do you want? Okay, Extreme, Free Download Manager, Deluge, Torrent Client, Qubit Torrent, Nextcloud, Remina, FileZilla, Remina's Remote Access Client, FileZilla, Putty, Warpinator, which comes from the Linux Mint project, which allows you to network your file sharing between computers, and they each have to have Warpinator installed, Nitro Share, and JDownloader 2. I don't really need any of those at this point, so I'm just going to click OK. What audio software do you want? Strawberry, Olivia, Audacious, Cantata, K-Wave, Lollipop, Audacity, Ardua, LMMS, Mix, MuseScore, Rose Garden, Bitwig Studio. Didn't know there was a strawberry. Didn't know there was a strawberry audio player. Lollipop, maybe we'll take Lollipop. Let's try that one. Never tried that before. Can we have a strawberry lollipop? No, we'll just take Lollipop. Okay. What video software do you want? SM Player, Kdenlive, yes. I would get that if this is a proper install on real hardware, but it's VirtualBox, so I'm going to give that a miss. Shotcut TV, OpenShot, OBS Studio, I would install that as well. SM Player, VLC, Barker M Player. Well, let's just do a VLC there. What graphics software do you want? Definitely I'd install GIMP. What have we got? Color Paint, MyPaint, GIMP I'm going to install. Krita, Digicam, Inkscape, Blender, Wings 3D, Sweet Home 3D, FreeCAD, LibreCAD, KiCad, Pencil 2D, Synfig Studio, OpenTunes, Darktable. I'm not sure, Luminanture. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. FontForge and Bird Font. Okay, well, I'm just going to take GIMP out of all that. What multimedia software do you want? Hypnotics is a TV. You can watch your TV on your computer. But if you think you're going to watch sport, forget it, because you cannot even watch sport that's viewed on your local TV on Hypnotics because it gets blocked. Sometimes I don't want to go out to the room and watch sport. I just want to quickly flick the TV on here and watch a bit of sport instead of just firing up the TV out in the room. But they block all sport. But Hypnotics does work very well though if you want to watch TV on your computer. That is another Linux Mint application. You've got Shortwave, Conversine, Handbrake. Well, I would install Handbrake, Mystique, Transmageddon, Sound Converter, Streamio, Kodi, Medialch, Subtitle Composer, Kid3, EasyTag. Let's do that. I would install that. K3B, Brasero, and XF Burn. What development software do you want? Well, I wouldn't install any of these at all. Don't need them, don't use them. So let's click OK. And what virtualization software do you want? So I would install VirtualBox normally. And then you've got known boxes, Virt Manager, Anbox, and Genymotion. But I would install VirtualBox if this was real hardware. What other software do you want? I don't know how to pronounce that. DroidCam, SoundWire, Variety, Conky. I don't normally use any of those. And then we got our password. Wow. Well, that is a full-on setup assistant, I must say. That's got everything and also the kitchen sink thrown into it. But that is curated choices, I think you would say. There's probably a lot more applications outside of that scope, but you'd have to think they've curated it for sort of choices of most popular applications used, I'd have to think. But boy, there is a lot of software choices there. That's not a bad little setup assistant, actually, I must say. Okay, so now it's question time, and I don't like question time. So, two providers. Now, somebody please help me here down in the comments. I just never know which ones to choose here. So you got libnautilus-extension, and then from the chaotic AUR, libnautilus-extension-type ahead. Choice of one or two. Well, I'm just going to take one because I've got no idea. It's the first number, so let's do that. Now we've got more choices. So there are three providers: Crony, Fcron, SystemCron, NextGit. I'll take number one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 choices. 6 choices for Java runtime. Too many choices. Would you take something that's headless? Doesn't say. I don't know. JR7, Java Open JD Bin JRE8. I have no idea which one I'm choosing here, but you know what? I don't know what headless means, and when it comes to Java, I don't know what it means to be headless for Java. I got no idea. I'm just going to choose 6 because it's just got something simple there. So I'm going to install 6 and press enter, and let's go. So as you can see here, I didn't really choose much to install, to be honest, but there's still 823 megabytes of download size. I don't know whether some of these packages are overriding some of the other ones, but these two here have definitely been very, very slow since the get-go. And also so is this one here. And this is what happened with the update, and then it'll probably get to a certain point and then it'll speed up, I hope. And I've got to put in my password after all that. Press enter to finish. That would have taken probably a lot longer if I had have installed the things I normally would install. I find the repo's a little bit slow in downloading. That's probably one of the issues I'm having with this Garuda. Now, it does refresh the mirrors, I'm pretty sure, before an update, but I don't know whether they've got mirrors close to Australia here. I don't know, but they seem to be very slow. So let's have a quick look around. KDE Plasma, obviously. So we'll have a quick look through the categories would be best. And you can pause if you want to check it out. Oh, K-Wallet Manager. It did it to me. I knew I shouldn't have selected the extras. Okay, so that's what's installed on the system. So there wouldn't have been a lot installed prior to my individual selections. So we have a Garuda Welcome here. We have the Garuda Assistant, which I have opened before, didn't I? Which I thought was the post-install assistant or whatever that was. So system update, reinstall all packages, edit repositories, refresh mirror list. Maybe we can do that. Let's do that. So it's definitely got Australia ticked. So let's click OK on that. Save to etc pacman.d mirror list. OK. Password. Press enter to exit. Okay, so I think downloads probably will be faster now because I don't know whether the Australia mirror was selected before. So maybe it was updating the mirror list with whatever was default, and it may not have been Australia. So maybe I needed to do that first. So whoever's watching this video, that's probably a good one to do before you run the setup assistant. So it might be a good thing to do to run refresh mirror list before running through setup assistant. Just to be sure that your mirrors are correct. Otherwise you might get slow downloads. So you got clear package cache. Press enter to exit. Refresh key rings. System update we've done. So you can reset configs. So reset selected configs. This might overwrite your customizations. So ButterFS. We got some options here. Snapper boot enabled. I'm not sure what that is. Snapper, I think, is a, if we can find Snapper in here, is a snapshot, isn't it? It's a snapshot tool. Okay, so it's not in the menu. So I'm not sure how Snapper works. I'll run Snapper. Let's have a look. Oh, Snapper's here anyway. Oh, here's Snapper here. Okay, so we've already got snapshots here by the looks of it. 1931, 1930. Okay, so the last one was 1931. All right, so we can do a new snapshot if we wanted to. Select config, root. That's the only option. System components. Firewall enabled. UFW enabled. Oh, it's got UFW ticked anyway. Printing and scanning. They're all ticked off. Virtualization. So you can add user in VBox users group. That's handy. So you tick, if you got VirtualBox installed, you tick VirtualBox and user in VBox users group. That's pretty handy. Haven't seen that before, to be honest, because normally you've got to run a command for that. And there should be a lot more of these things. Linux Mint has a little bit more ease of use when it comes to adding users to groups and so forth. The Cinnamon desktop allows you to do that. Not a lot of other desktops do, and if they do, I'm not aware of it. So plenty of options there. Audio options here as well. It's got Pipewire support. So Bash is default. Performance tweaks. I still don't know what this one is or how to pronounce it. There's another one over here for it. Power saver tweaks. This thing's just got everything. System specs. And other diagnostics. So that is the Garuda Assistant. Garuda Settings Manager. Hardware configuration, kernel. So this is another settings manager on top of KDE settings. Video mode setting, open source, okay. Let's go back. Kernel. Probably need a password on this one, no doubt. So, which is the current one, this one here, Linux Zen. So that's the only one in here by the looks of it, is the Linux Zen. So you got all those options there for Linux kernels. Garuda Gamer. So you've got all these things here. So I'm assuming if I check Steam and apply, that will install Steam. Play on Linux, Wine Tricks, OBS Studio. So they've got categories here. Launchers. So these are all the launchers. You've got Wine, Tools. So OBS Studio comes under Tools. And then you've got, Tools. And then you've got another Tools. Steam Tinker Launch. And then you've got Controllers. So that's the Gamer, Games, and Emulators. So Anbox is Android. So you've got all these emulators here. And Games. I don't know how we get out of here. How do we finish this off? Discard. It's not finishing, so we'll close that. Okay, you just got to close it. Garuda Network Assistant, Garuda Boot Options. Close that. Network Assistant. Well, not that we need network assistance right now, but we'll just see what that's all about. Linux drivers, Windows drivers, close that. Partition Manager, which is KDE Partition Manager. Add remove software, which is probably the one that I installed, which is Octopi. So you can install your applications from here as well. And then you've got this button here. You need a package in order to use AUR. Do you want to install it? No. So how does that work? I'm not quite sure how that works. System cleaner. Let's just go yes on that one. Clean the system. So I've seen Snapper running there, so it's probably done a snapshot by the looks of it. And it's installed Stacer. So system cleaner installs Stacer. So there we have the usage anyway, 15% on the CPU, 3.2 gigs of memory it's using. That's fairly high. I thought it was tweaked to run, thought they said it was tweaked to run quite minimum, but it doesn't look like that's too minimum. KDE Connect, system settings. So you'll have your normal KDE system settings here. Kate, Dolphin. So that's Dolphin, and that's the Dolphin browser. Let's go to the system settings real quick, and let's have a look at appearance. We are currently using the beauty line. We're using the beauty line. Window decorations is sweet dark. Plasma style is sweet. Colors is sweetified. So that's the theming that's going on here in Garuda. And we'll check out FireDragon, their web browser. So this is help and about FireDragon. This is FireDragon 93. And it looks like we have global menus up the top as well. So something I didn't notice before. Let's have a look at console has got, yeah, that's got the menus there. And then we've got also Dolphin. So yep, we're running Dolphin currently. File, edit, view. Okay, so the global menus are running. And you got your right click on the desktop, the usual Plasma options there, calendar, weather's not configured. So you've got your different, it doesn't highlight which one, it just gives you a tooltip there. So it doesn't sort of highlight any of those, or does it? Maybe it does, it's very hard to see. So that was Garuda Linux. What do I think of the aesthetics of Garuda Linux? For me, I like a dark theme, but I just find those icons and some of it sort of dark and very bright at the same time. So it's a complete opposite contrast within the whole desktop environment. So some people might really like that. I just found it a little bit, what can you say? A little bit off-putting to my eyes and where I was looking at things and so forth. So I sort of like the traditional desktop in a sense, with just the usual sort of normal colors rather than those really bright popping icons with the dark background. I just found myself struggling to focus just a little bit with the different contrasts of that desktop. But I'm not criticizing what it is. That's just me personally. That's all that is. Some people might find that really appealing. For me, it was just a little bit too much of a contrast, that's all. So a lot of extremely helpful tools, which is what they say on their, if we go back to Garuda's web page here, they were talking about how the amount of tools and the helpful tools, easy installation, Unleash the Beauty, BTRFS, which has got snapshots, Assistant tool, Chaotic AUR. I'm not quite sure what that was. I didn't really look at that. Chaotic AUR is a repository featuring one of the bigger precompiled software choices out there out of the box. A lot of emulators, kernel games, themes, and other commonly used tools. Around 2,500 packages right now. And that was within Octopi. GUI for managing drivers and kernels. GUI for installing curated gaming software. Yep, they've got a GUI for just about everything in Garuda, so I can see how those GUIs would be very helpful for people who want to run Arch but are not really up to speed with how Arch works sort of in the manual sense. So Garuda or Garuda offers a lot of tools for any newcomers or newbies, if you want to call them that want to come to Arch Linux. As a rolling distro itself, that probably is appealing to a lot of people because they don't have to reinstall from one long-term support to another. So, and Garuda or Garuda Linux is offering a lot of GUI tools to help assist those people who are willing to make that change to Arch Linux base. So I'd probably have to check out a couple of other Garuda Linux distros to see what they're like. I don't know if they all have the same theming or different or not. I'm not quite sure about that. So that was Garuda Linux or Garuda Linux Dragonized with the KDE desktop. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting and informative. And thanks for watching.